Hi, I'm Matt with Infinity Custom Homes.
I'm Chris Krager with Infinity Custom Homes.
Hey, we are at our fall parade house here in Edmond, Oklahoma, and we are standing in the sunroom. We have a few things we just want to point out from a framing aspect that are different from some of the different houses that we've built before. We've got these great big windows. Chris, how are we able to do that with the framing that we have over here to get the most light that we can on this big window wall?
So a wall like this takes a lot of extra care and an extra planning, and you have to kind of go at it from an engineering perspective. So this wall has to actually be, number one, it has to be engineered, but we have to actually use a product called LFL. And LFL is a laminated framing lumber. So as you can see, these beams are actually not solid wood, they're laminated, and they go from the floor all the way to the ceiling. And that's what actually gives that wall its structure and its strength.
Yeah, so if we were to use regular timber, we would be able to do that, kind of like over here where we have this big opening for a door. We've got, what, 6 2x4s there to be able to make up that one 9-foot door.
Yep.
We have just a couple of them over here to make up for that big 20-foot opening for this window.
Yeah.
And that's because that LFL is a engineered material. We can have it so it's much straighter, much stronger, and be able to accomplish something like this.
Yeah, so like Matt mentioned, there's two benefits. Number one, an LFL can actually be made any length, any width, but it comes out and it is straighter, it is stronger, there's no cupping, curving, and in this particular scenario, it's actually very vital that it is perfectly straight, perfectly square. Because if you look at this wall, all the reveals around all the windows are the same. It is symmetrical. That is why we wanted these LFLs, so that way we can make sure that it is a very symmetrical wall.
Yeah, it allows us to give us the maximum window amount so we can get more light into this room, make it look just that much better. We can't do it in every one because they're expensive, so we don't build a whole house out of this stuff, but we do like to use it in some of these other applications. We've got something going on with the ceiling. We got this big vaulted ceiling over here.
Yep.
How are we able to do that in here? We're using some joists that we usually don't use a lot of time in Oklahoma here.
Yeah, so what you'll see up here is these are called scissor trusses. In order to achieve the look that we wanted, we have to have the same pitch on the roof and the same pitch on the inside for the ceiling, because otherwise, looking from the outside with this perfectly symmetrical wall, you wouldn't have a perfectly symmetrical roof line, number one. Number two, whenever you end up with a roof like this, it's gonna actually have a lot of load. And so we wanna make sure that it's strong and so that it is able to support not only the roof, but anything else that could be on top of it, snow, people, whatever. But the biggest thing is that symmetrical look is what we needed these trusses for.
Yeah, a lot of parts in the place in the country, they actually have to use this for their rafters on the roof. We don't have those big snow loads and things like that other places get, but we do need to use these in certain areas to be able to accomplish some things that we need.
Correct.
It also gives us opportunity to have 18 inches of depth so we can put in HVAC, insulation, things like that. So this room, while it's open to all this sunlight, will still stay cool in Oklahoma summers.
Correct.
Okay, and then we got this big window going over here, or a big door. We'll have a big sliding glass door over here. Tell us about that and why we framed it that way versus the way we did for the windows.
So anytime you see a window that's 5 foot or less, or a door opening that's 5 foot or less, you're gonna see what we call a king stud. A king stud is gonna be a stud that goes all the way from the floor plate all the way to the top plate. And then within that is gonna be a jack stud. So this is a 5 foot opening or less, so it's gonna have a jack stud underneath the header, and it's supporting the header of this window. Anytime you have an opening that is 5 foot or more, you're gonna have 2 jack studs. What that actually does, it actually distributes the weight of the header and actually displaces it to the sides of that opening. So that way the weight that's bearing down on the center of this header is actually transferred to the sides and then down to the floor. Whenever this isn't done correctly, you'll get what we call sagging in your header. You'll also get sagging in the door, and then the door will end up not functioning properly. So it's very important that the framer takes extra care to put those king studs and those trimmers in properly. Otherwise, 5, 10, even 15 years down the road, you could have some structural problems.
Awesome. So those are some great engineering things that we've done in this room. We'll take you over here to our study and point out a few other things that are different in this house than in some of the other houses we built.